Hey, what is up you guys? I am sitting on my floor, which means either one of two things. It's either time for an unhaul or a haul. And considering I just done an unhaul like 2 weeks ago, it's obviously a haul. I recently met up with Emma Novella, just really quickly and briefly, to basically raid her bookcases. She was doing a huge clear out of loads of books, and she has a whole video of her channel, like of all the books that she was unhauling. And she's also starting like a little business where it's like a book box, and you can buy like a mystery book, and you also get like, what was it? It was like chocolate and something. I don't know. The link to that video will be in the description. Go check it out. It looks like she's doing a really cool little small business enterprise project, and she also done like a huge unhaul. So when I seen her video, I messaged her because we live kind of close together, kind of, and said that if she wanted, I'd be happy to buy some of the books off of her. So I got a lot of books for a good price. And thank you so much, Emma. And it was also just like so nice to meet her. Obviously, we're both like Scottish booktubers, so it was nice to just have a chat and like finally talk in person after talking like over text for like 2 years. Like I've known Emma basically since I started booktube, so yeah, it was really fun. And I also bought myself a couple books with some money I had. So let's just get into it. If you enjoy this haul, please leave a like and please subscribe. And obviously comment your thoughts on any of these books in the comments, which ones I should prioritise, etc, etc. And yeah, let's just get started with the haul. The first books were some that I bought brand new myself, and these were a bunch of James Baldwin Penguin Modern Classics. I really loved Giovanni's Room and Another Country last year. They're two of my favourite books from last year, Giovanni's Room being my favourite book. So I decided to buy my own copies of them. And if you don't know, I've talked about this book so many times, but Giovanni's Room is about a bisexual man in Paris discovering sexuality, pretty much. It's like the very simple explanation. And Another Country also deals with sexuality, but also deals with race and, you know, white people and black people being friends in the time it was written, which is the 1960s. And yeah, I just love both of them. I thought they were both great, and I love how James Baldwin talks about race and sexuality and all these different topics. He blends them all together like so well, and he's just like amazing, and I cannot wait to read more of his books. So I'm definitely gonna have to check the back of these. I do apologise, but I keep forgetting which one's which. But I have Go Tell It on the Mountain, which is about a man who is destined to become a preacher, or maybe I think he's still a boy, sorry, who's destined to become a preacher like his father, but his father is actually very abusive, and his passion for, you know, religion is like smothering, and it sounds really interesting. I think that religion isn't something that was really touched on the other two James Baldwin books I've talked about, but obviously it is like another huge topic which really interconnects with race and sexuality, so it'll be really interesting to see how he discusses it in this. And then I have If Beale Street Could Talk, and this one is about Tish, who is 19 and pregnant, and her lover, the father of the child, is in jail accused of rape. So that sounds also like it's going to be really heavy, and I cannot wait to dive into this one. I think this one is going to be the one I read next, because it just sounds like heavy, and I love like heavy topics. And then the fifth one is Tell Me How Long the Train's Been Gone, and this one is mostly about race, and it says that everywhere there is the anguish being black in a society that seems poised on the brink of racial war. This one sounds also like it'll be really heavy. This one's longer than the others, which is kind of cool. I think most of them, Another Country's quite long. But yeah, I just think all of these are going to be so good, and I also just love like the cover style, like the art style of them all. Like they all just look so good together, and I am obsessed. So yeah, very happy with this purchase and cannot wait to get into them. And then the other one I talked about in my March TBR, I'm reading this month, is Imra by Edward Prime Stevenson, and this paperback cost me like £20 basically for this tiny little paperback, because this is like quite a rare book. This is one of the only recent like republishing of it, and it's quite hard to find copies of it, so I'm trying to keep it like pristine condition, and then I'm gonna resell it, to be honest, once I read it. But it's basically just a gay classic about two men. It's set in America, and it is the first American gay novel to have a happy ending, apparently, so that is why this one is quite notable, and I am excited to get to it. So next, let's talk about the books that I got from Emma. The first ones are ones I've read before, so they don't really count. If I've read the book before, then I feel like it's just like, it doesn't even count because I'm not adding it to my physical TBR, so it's like, it basically doesn't even exist. But this is just these black editions of the Divergent trilogy. Obviously, I have Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant, and I wasn't even like a super big fan of Divergent, but I had weird like UK covers which were like purple, blue, and like another pink, I think pink, yeah, and I just wanted these black editions so they would match my black editions of the Hunger Games and the Twilight Saga, because all of those like YA books are all on a shelf together, so this would match nicer, and I just wanted them. This is actually the third edition of Divergent I've owned, because I owned the like movie tie-in like edition, so I had like a picture or like the movie poster on the front cover, and then I unhauled that and got a matching set of those like UK editions I just talked about, and then now I'm unhauling them and I have these black editions, and I don't even like Divergent that much, so it's kind of weird to have had so many different editions. But I mean, what can you say? I just like love matching editions on a shelf, and all of the black like just satisfies me so much. Following in the same vein, the next book I have is Uglies by Scott Westerfield, and I only want to read this because there's a Netflix movie coming out later this year, or maybe start of next year, I don't know, it's in development anyway, and me and a couple of friends said we were going to buddy read it, and I was waiting to get it from my library, and then I saw this in Emma's video, so I was like, you know what, I'll just grab it, because God knows when libraries are even going to reopen. And this is basically about a society. It's like a YA dystopian type thing. It was popular back in like 2012 apparently. I never heard of it. Like, I had never read Divergent until last year, but I'd like heard of it. I'd never heard of Uglies, but it was kind of popular back then, I think. And it's about society where everyone, when they turn like 16 or 17, it goes through a procedure to make them like into the same kind of standard beautiful aesthetic. And I think our main character doesn't want to go through the procedure, or like something goes wrong and they realise like the society is messed up. I don't really know, but I just think it'll be fun to buddy read like a classic kind of YA series, or I don't know if we're doing the whole series or if we're just in the first one, but I only have the first one, so yeah, that's Uglies, I guess. And the next one is kind of also the same, and this is a YA book which I have always been interested in, and I've never seen the movie either, and I've heard the movie is like iconic, and the book is like really popular, and that's The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. And this is just a YA contemporary. I think it deals with like suicide and like depression and just being like lonely, anxiety maybe. I don't know. I feel like it is like one of those books that deals with like mental health topics. Honestly, I don't really know. Like I said, I've never really seen the movie, and I just realised I'm going to say so many things in this video, like I don't really know. I'd really apologise. I hate when people say that in haul videos, but what can you do? Yeah, I just basically want to read this so I can watch the movie, because they're very iconic, I think. I still hear people talk about this now. Like Uglies, I don't really hear people talk about, but like this, people do still talk about it and read it. So I just feel like I missed out by never reading this one. Like I could probably go my whole life without actually reading Uglies, but this one I feel like it'll just be interesting. This next one I am very excited for, and it's Dark Places by Jillian Flynn. I love Gone Girl, I love Sharp Objects. I haven't read any thrillers apart from those, but Jillian Flynn is one of my favourite authors, just out of those two books alone. This is her other like proper full-length novel. I also own her short story called The Grown Up, which I have not read yet. I really need to. But when I saw this in Emma's video, I was very excited because I've been wanting this edition, which matches all the other spines, because I actually bought an edition of this off of eBay, and they sent me like a bright green, like instead of, basically the colours of this were inverted, so like the whole thing was green and then the text was black, and I was like, I did not want that on my shelf. And that's just another thriller, and I don't really know what it's about, to be honest, but I'm sorry, I really hate when people say that. I am everything that I hate in booktube videos, like everything that I watch someone's video and think, why are they doing that? I do it as well. So yeah, that's Dark Places. It's a thriller by Jillian Flynn, and that's why I want to read it. This next one is also no, it's not also anything. This next one I bought for one of the videos coming off my series, which I still haven't even started the first one, and it is reading my friend's favourite books, and it is The Shadow of the Wind. And this actually would count for two of my friend's favourite books actually, so I'll need to work out my plans there. But this is like a historical fiction about a boy who discovers a book that he really loves and adores, and then he discovers that all of the copies of the book are being destroyed, and he goes on a mission to save it, maybe? I just know that two of my friends really, really love this, and other people as well. Like, this is a book that a lot of people love. I think it maybe has some fantastical, some fantasy elements to it as well. It says it's an epic story of murder, madness, and doomed love. And yeah, hopefully I love it. I'll need to actually work out which my friends I'm reading this for, but regardless of who, I think I'm in for a good time, because I don't think I've ever heard a single bad thing about this book. I don't love this edition, to be honest. I think it's one of those weird, yeah, it's one of those books that's a weird size, which I hate. I really hate books that, like, why can books not all just be this size? But anyway, it is what it is. Aristotle and Dante discovered the secrets of the universe. This is a kind of recent, I think it's like mid 2010s YA, like LGBT book. And I always hear people talk about how cute this is, and I don't really know what the plot is. Again, I really hate myself. But I just heard really good things, and I think I've decided that once I get to the end of my LGBT classics like series, I am going to do one on like books from the 2000s and books from like 2010s, and this will be like a good book for that, and that's basically why I chose this one. Shatter Me is another very popular mid-2000 or mid-2010 YA series which I have never read, and it's about a girl who, when she touches people, they die, and I don't know much more than that, but I know that one of my friends, or quite a few of my friends actually, really enjoyed this. I think it's kind of one of those guilty pleasure books where it's actually not that great, but people think it's fun. And I've just realised like how nice the cover looks on camera. I'm pretty obsessed with that actually. So yeah, I don't have like super high hopes for this. I don't know if it's going to be like really my thing, but if it's fun, then I'm down, you know. Like, I don't need, I mean, I read a lot of classics obviously, and I talk about like, a minute ago I was talking about all the heavy topics and like books like this, but I also just love like a nice fun book, you know, like brain empty, no thoughts, one of those books. This is Alice in the Country of Hearts, which I've actually already read, and it is a manga, and it's the first manga I've read in years, that other than my rereads of Death Note Volume 1 and 2 last year and the year before. And it was okay. It's like a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, but it's one of those retellings that it's not really retelling anything, it's just taking the characters and putting them in like a completely different situation. It's kind of like a gangster type Alice in Wonderland. There's lots of gangs. They were fighting. It was very strange. There was like, I don't know, it was weird. I think I gave it 4 stars. I was entertained throughout, I will say. It was just kind of strange, and I definitely would not continue on. I'm not going to seek out like volume 2. But for what it was, I did enjoy it. And I love Alice in Wonderland. And it's nice to like see a retelling that isn't like downright offensive. Like Alice by Christina Henry was just offensive to me. So this one was kind of fun. Like, it was stupid, but Alice in Wonderland is stupid, so it kind of works. This is another one of my favourite books from last year. It is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman, who is a Scottish author, so we love that. And this is a contemporary about Eleanor, who is a kind of strange, a little bit mentally ill woman in her like 30s. Her life is the same every single day, and then she makes a new friend at work, and her life kind of starts to change a little bit, and it has like one of my favourite platonic friendships I've ever read about. Like, I loved the friendship in this book. I loved Eleanor. It is so funny, but then also so heartbreaking at the same time. It deals with like really serious topics, but then it also puts like such a funny spin on things, and Eleanor like as a character is just so funny. And yeah, I just wanted this to own it because I definitely will reread it. I feel like this is going to be one of like those comfort books for me where, you know, when I'm like feeling down and I don't really feel like reading, this will be one I can like go to, and I don't even need to like read the whole thing. I can just like read a few chapters and like it'll pick me up and it'll put me in a good mood. We're almost at the end now, and I hate saying I don't know what books are about, but this one is The Snow Child by this author. I don't know her name. And I Again, don't know what this is about, but I seen two, this is like, I only got this because it was like a weird coincidence. I watched 2 videos in a row. I'd never heard of this book ever. And then I watched like 2 videos in a row of people discussing it, and then obviously I've still forgot what it was about. And then I watched Emma's video and she said she was unhauling it. So obviously that was like basically 3 videos. It wasn't like one after the other, it was like 3 videos in the same day all mentioned this book. So I said to Emma, I was like, okay, I need this, because it was just like fate. Let me see what it's about. Alaska, the 1920s. Jack and Mabel have staked everything on a fresh start in a remote homestead, but the wilderness is a stark place, and Mabel is haunted by the baby she lost many years before. Ooh, so it's maybe a ghost story? I don't know. I basically just got that because it was a coincidence. This next one is Gone by Michael Grant, and this is another very popular YA series from, I think this one is actually the 2000s, and I got this again for reading my friends' favourite books, and the person who this is one of their favourite books will know who they are the second I held this book up. But it is a YA series, and I actually have heard some people say they really hate it because of the portrayal of autism, I think. Don't quote me on that. But the person that I'm thinking of loves it and has been telling me to read this for like a year, so here it is. You know who you are. And then the final book is One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus, and this is like a murder mystery YA series, or book, sorry. I think it is a series, but I don't know if, I think they're like loosely, I think it's like the same characters, but not really like the same plot, you know what I mean? One of those series. But yeah, I've just heard a lot about this. It seems like it's a nice fun book. It will take me like a day to read probably. I've heard like a lot of people say this is one of those books that you can read in like one sitting. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun. And that was all of the books. Oh my god, I just realised I need to take a thumbnail, and I hate trying to take thumbnails for haul videos. Oh, it's so stressful. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe. Hopefully I will be back with like a more proper video. I have been like really stressed recently. Like there's a lot going on in my life. And by a lot going on, I really just mean like I've got a new job and university. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next one.